Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. In this video I'm going to be talking about something very exciting. No, not really. This is my Royal Enfield Scram 411 and these are the stock mirrors that come on it. They're fine, you know, the bike was built to a budget. They kind of do what they do. They do vibrate a little bit. They don't look particularly fancy, but they don't look terrible either. It's essentially just a bit of what I'm guessing is maybe 10mm bar that's just been bent twice, and a mirror stuck on one end, a thread on the other, and a little rubber cover. That's fine. What I'm going to cover in this video is these. So this is the Royal Enfield Touring mirror, and they come as a pair from Royal Enfield with some nice sort of branding on the back, adjustable actually on the back there and also at the pivot point, and it all looks just quite nicely cast, you know, really nicely finished. They don't come particularly cheaply. In fact, given the cost of the bike, I think cost per weight, this is perhaps the most expensive thing that I would put on it. Now I know that these are also used by people who put them on the Interceptor and the bikes in a higher price bracket, but you know what, I thought I'd splash out a little bit and give some new mirrors to my Royal Enfield Scram. So what I'm going to do is there'll be a very quick video removing the old ones. You've got to remember one of them goes the wrong way, the other one goes the right way. I'll explain that as I'm doing it. Then I'll show you them side by side on the table. I will weigh them just in case there is a weight difference. I can't imagine there's a lot in it. And then I'll put these back on and show you what it looks like. So to remove the left mirror, it's really straightforward. You just lift up the little rubber boot that's on the bottom, and this thread undoes exactly as you would expect. There's just a little locking nut on there with a 14mm wrench that I undid, and then the whole thing just unscrews. Easy as that. Now the one on the right hand side is a little bit different. You know, most people know lefty loosey, righty tighty or something like that, or when you're doing something up it's always clockwise, when you're undoing it it's always anti-clockwise. Not the case here, I'm afraid, and to actually get this off, it sounds completely counterintuitive. You do, well, even the locking nut goes on the wrong way, and then you actually wind it clockwise to take it out. So if you're trying to get the right hand one off and it's not coming and you can't work out why, it may well be that it's just because it goes the opposite way to what was expected. There we go. Right, I'll show you these side by side on the table. So these are the two mirrors. These are the two stock ones. These are the two Royal Enfield Touring mirrors. So show you the stock ones first. So they just kind of come like this. They've got the little rubber boot threaded on one end, locking nut, and then in here there is some adjustment where you can move it around on there. It's actually just made of plastic. It is E-marked, I think for Europe. It says objects in the mirror are closer than they appear, and they are 110mm diameter. This is all plastic, this is all metal. By comparison, the Royal Enfield Touring mirrors, everything I think is made from metal. It's 100mm across, not 110, so it is slightly smaller, 10mm smaller, about 10% smaller. But on the back of here there's this similar sort of adjustment at the top end there for the mirror itself, but you can also change the angle using this hex key down there. At the bottom end it's just got this quite nice fitting that's been really nicely finished, also powder coated, and then a lock nut which is black, and then what looks like a stainless thread as opposed to the mild steel one that was on the standard mirror. So yeah, I mean they are just mirrors, you know, let's not get too excited here, but I think they do look somewhat better when you see them sort of side by side like this. So something which I quite often do, some people like it, some people don't, is I'll weigh things and see whether I'm actually adding or removing weight to a bike. Mirrors, I can't imagine there's much in it. Stock mirrors, plastic and metal, bang on, well, 250 grams, 251. Royal Enfield Touring middle, slightly smaller, metal end, bit heavier maybe, 276. So 25 grams per mirror, 50 grams in total. It's not huge, but they are slightly heavier. You won't be doing this to save any weight. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can tell you about these really. I honestly don't think there is. I mean, they are just mirrors. I think what I'm going to do before I do anything else though is I am going to just set up the bottom of here. So this is that hex key that you can adjust. So I'm just going to loosen that off. And this is toothed, so it's not free moving. You do have to get it off quite a way. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and get the angle set so that when this is in, that I think the mirrors are going to be in about the same place as they would have been with the stock one. So I think that's about there for the one that will go on the left side. Let's do that up again. Just comparing the bottom end of that. The angle of the stalk is slightly different, but it's because I want to try and get the mirror well, it's going to be as out as far, it's just going to be a little bit lower. So I've done that for that side. I'm now going to try and do the same for the one that's going to go on the right. So again, thinking about where that's going to be, something like there. And I think that is hopefully the same, oops, hopefully that is the same angle that that one is, but just reversed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. If this isn't right, once it's on the bike and I've ridden it, I can always try adjusting it. There we go. If it turns out that those are exactly as I want them, then maybe I'll even put a bit of thread lock on. But that's kind of it for showing you the mirrors. I'm now going to go and install them on the bike. To put them back on the bike is exactly the reverse of how it was to remove the others. So the left-hand one does get screwed on the expected way, so that's to turn that clockwise to do it up. So once that's on, I'm then just going to tighten it up using that locking nut, again in a clockwise direction. Now these don't have a little rubber boot over them, which was a bit of a surprise, because even on my BMW I do, but then again I think the bolt behind it is actually stainless, so I'm guessing it's not needed. There we go, that's one in. Take that off. Now remember, the one on the right hand side goes in the other way round. So this one is going to screw in an anti-clockwise direction, oops, which feels completely unintuitive. And once that's in position, it's anti-clockwise to do up the locking nut. That pretty much is it. I'm sure that it'll need a little bit of adjustment the first time I go out on the road, but I'll take my spanner with me just in case I need to adjust that, and otherwise it's just adjusting the back or just, you know, moving the ends very slightly. Now that they're on the bike, I'll just give you a very close-up look so you can see exactly how they fit and how those end bits in particular look alongside everything else. So that's the one on the left side of the bars. And as I come around to the right, that's that easily adjustable joint, or it just needs a hex key, and then the mirror there. So that's it. That's my video on how to fit the Royal Enfield Touring mirrors to the Royal Enfield Scram. Not a lot to it. They are just mirrors after all, but I think they do look a little bit nicer. I hope that's been interesting and useful. If it has, maybe I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.